Welcome to the Mystical Musings with Friends podcast. Join us in these fun, consciousness-expanding episodes hosted by myself, Kimberley Leite, where we discuss the world of the mystical and how this world can enhance your life experience, along with spiritual teachers and leaders from around the world. Join us as we explore subjects including the Ascension and Oneness teachings, law of attraction, channeling, spiritual healing, psychic explorations, and various other journeys within the mystical, esoteric, and metaphysical realms. It is a journey behind the veil of our reality, and it's a journey of awakening to the powerful being that you truly are. Well, welcome everybody, and welcome to our next episode of Mystical Musings with Friends. So today we have special guest Tracy Deluise joining us today. Hi, Tracy.
Hi, Kimberly.
So today it's going to be about fitness, well-being, and the law of attraction. So Tracy is actually a fitness coach, wellness, and LOA coach. So today we're going to talk about how basically maintaining well-being and an alignment using the law of attraction and combination with, nutrition, fitness really helps you to stay in alignment with who you truly are, and it helps you to have spiritual health that allows you to explore life in an aligned way, and it helps you to have much more energy and be able to explore life in a much joyous and energetic and vibrant way. So Tracy, tell us a little bit more about yourself, those of us who don't know who you are.
Absolutely. So thankful and grateful to be here. Thank you for inviting me, Kimberly. And so just going on about what you said about incorporating all these things into feeling good. We want to feel good in our body. And so we get inspired to work out thinking that that's going to make us feel good. And then we work out and it's like, all right, something's missing. So it's really about incorporating spirituality, the exercise, the feeling, good, what's inspiring you. So it's really important to bring in the law of attraction and know what is inspiring you to feel good. Because the most important thing here on this earth as human beings is to feel good. So what makes you feel good? Don't let anybody else outside you tell you what feels good. Listen to your inner guidance system. And that's where, that law of attraction really comes in to tell you what it is that you need to feel good. And being a personal trainer for many years now, I used to always tell my clients, they would always come to me and say, hey, Tracy, oh my God, can you train me? I really want to look like you and this and that and the other thing. And I used to tell them, or they used to ask for advice. What can I do to look like you? And I used to say, just naturally, without even, knowing what I know now as much as I do. But back in the day, I'd be like, listen to yourself. I says, what do you enjoy to do? I says, I enjoy lifting weights. But if you don't enjoy lifting weights, there's swimming, there's walking, there's running. There's so many more things that you can do to make your body feel good and feel energized that you don't have to do what I do. And I think that's where, a lot of the confusion comes in with some people, that they look at others and see how fit they are and perceive them to be doing so much better than they are. And then they want to do what they are doing, as opposed to really finding their own inner guidance and saying, what is it that I enjoy to do, that's going to make me feel good. And that's where you find that perfect balance of fitness and health and well-being.
And that's true, isn't it? Because we often do compare ourselves and our journeys to other people, whether it's our spiritual journey, our, physical fitness journey and well-being journey. And because we are all unique frequencies of source, right? So it makes sense that the way we maintain well-being is going to be unique. And I understand that, you know, if we having trouble to tap into that inner guidance within, we may look, you know, outside for guidance. And that's a really good start, isn't it? To kind of have that kind of a guide at the initial stages. And then, but yeah, you can be able, what you do that, you'll be able to sense if it is right for you, can't you? Because you're either perhaps not getting the results. Would that be true? Like if it's something not aligned to your frequency, what's very beneficial to you, you may not get the right results. Of course, you may not enjoy it. But usually, often, isn't it, that something that is very right for you, that is unique, that works uniquely with you, is going to feel good. And that's a key, isn't it? That certain techniques, whether it is a fitness regime, whether it is even a type of, you know, meditation, whether it is certain foods to eat, it's going to be unique for you. It's just about listening to that inner guidance.
Oh my gosh, that couldn't be further from the truth. It is so true that, yes, find your inner guidance. We are all unique, and find that food that makes you feel good. I mean, I've read so much stuff about nutrition. I have been, you know, indulging myself in reading about fitness and nutrition and, you know, what makes the body work and all that good stuff. And it always comes back to what is unique for you. Always listen to your guidance system. You have that guidance within you, as we all do. There is no unique diet, or there is no one diet that is going to work for everyone. And when you feel like you're dieting or you're eating this certain way and it doesn't feel good for you, you got to know that this is not working for me, so I'm going to try something else. You know, there are so many, you know, nutrition things out there that people used to come to me and ask, Tracy, what should I do how should I eat? What's a good eating plan for me? And I would say, listen, I'm not a scientist. I wish I had a lab that I can show you and test your body to know what's going to feel good for you. But my best advice to you as a trainer and, you know, doing what I do is listen to your body. Eat a certain food. If you feel energized, if you feel good after you've eaten that, then that's a good food for you. Don't go by guidelines, you know, from massive people, or, you know, like, hey, this is a guideline and it's going to work great for everyone. No, I don't believe in that. I believe that you are your own unique person and you got to listen to your body. So eat a certain food. How do you feel afterwards? If you feel tired, if you feel sluggish, then that food is not right for you. So, you know, eating and listening to your body, so important. Exercising, same exact thing. Listen to your body. Do you feel good doing it? Does your body feel, are you excited about doing that certain exercise? It's the struggle and the you know, what you were talking about before, how people try to do what others do and they're struggling with this, whatever they're doing, eating or exercising. They're not enjoying it. So they're resisting it. So of course, yeah, you may see some results, but then in the end, you're not going to last and the results are not going to be what you expected because of all that resistance, because you're trying to force it. You don't want to force anything in this life. You want to, right, go with the flow, right? Taking that law of attraction in there.
And that's true. It's kind of like somewhat of a counterintuitive notion of health and well-being, because obviously, you know, through all the different studies, there are different techniques and ways that, you know, science has proven that gets you certain, you know, results, or that these kind of foods are good for you, these kind of foods or substances are not good for you. And that really affects our belief systems, doesn't it? And when you do listen to your body, your belief systems actually affect that. And it's a good point that you brought up about, you know, eating a food and listening to how it affects your body. You know, the beings of the Light Human channel also discuss this. And our belief systems affect how we respond to certain foods. And also foods itself, if you want to go past the whole, you know, the science aspect, foods actually have a code, like an energetic code. And basically, because we are beings of source, we are energy, we also have certain codes within us. So sometimes, you know, it's not a match. And I like what you said about, taking a substance in and listening to your body. So you can do that. It's quite easy. And of course, you have to be aware of your belief systems. I know in certain traditions, it's been said that certain food is not good for you. And I know a lot of people, on the spiritual path, there's a lot of, people saying that you shouldn't, like, for instance, shouldn't eat meat, for instance.
Right.
I personally don't eat meat, but that's because it affects my body. I'm very tuned to that. Whereas my husband, for instance, he's the biggest meat eater in the world, and I don't mind. He tried the whole vegan thing and it wasn't for him, and that's perfectly okay.
Right.
And it's about understanding that everyone's unique in this journey here. So yeah, the beings of the light also say that, when you ingest a food, you can actually, before you even eat it, you can connect to your higher self and just ask yourself, go within and say, is this food good for you, for your highest good? And then listen to the answer. You'll get the guidance. It might be an inner knowing, direct guidance. You can practice with this. If you don't really get that, you can then eat it. And then listen to the body. Listen, and you'll be able to feel your body if it feels good or not. It's about fine tuning to the senses. And that's why, meditation is very important. And that's another thing, isn't it? That, on this journey, it's like, there were so many different ways you can meditate. And it's the same kind of struggle with some people, with the fitness, with the food, and the ways of doing meditation. They do certain meditations, it doesn't work for them, they get frustrated and they kind of give up. But there's so many different forms of meditation because we are unique beings, So you don't have to do traditional ones, just find a way that resonates for you. You can have the traditional ones, your eyes closed, sitting there in silence. You can do walking meditations. You can just go for a walk and look at nature and engage with the energy there. There's so many different ways. So it's not about, isn't it, like limiting ourselves to put ourselves in a box, because we are so unique. There's no one like us out there. So of course, the ways we can maintain health from a being is unique. And I love how you bring up, also law of attraction, because, everything is happening for us, right? And if you can tap into the sense of what feels good, then you will be able to then receive more guidance to maintain this. Basically, if you are open to receiving the guidance, the universe is basically saying, okay, she's now listening to this inner guidance. So we are going to bring her more information about what is good for her, for her highest good. We're going to guide her even further about what foods are best for her, what exercises are best for her, and what ways is best for her to meditate at this current point of time, for instance. So it's really about being open and also take note of your belief systems, because that's going to also affect certain things that you ingest. Because if you think a food is bad and you really believe it, of course it's going to have this effect on your body. So you can reverse that as well. You can start to change your perspectives on certain foods, and that will also help. So yeah, it's just about being open and communicate with your inner higher self. And yeah, you'll be guided what's best, what the best direction for you is to maintain health and well-being.
Exactly for you, because we are so very unique. And it's interesting that, I think that's the most important thing to do is, like you said, meditate. And there are so many different forms of meditation. I have a lot of people that have come to me and said, I'm just not good at meditating. I can't do it. And it's just, I don't know what it is, and blah, blah, blah. And I think it's because their belief system about meditating is they have to shut it all down. They can't think of anything. And some people, it's hard for them to do that. So they're like, I can't do this. Right away, they're just like, I don't know how to meditate. I can't do this, because they can't shut it all down. Listen, we're all human. Just find your place or find your right meditation. Plethora of different types of meditation. And I think that can really get you in tune to your inner self, right? Which then will get you to talk to your inner self. Your inner self will talk to you, and you can then listen to it and then be guided to the foods that you need to eat, the exercise that you should do, the things that are going to make you feel so much better than listening to this mass, and conforming to, hey, this is what you got to do. This is what you got to do. You got to do this, that, and the other thing, like you said, with you not eating meat, you do that because that makes you feel good. You were guided to that. You've tried it and it feels good for you. And so you continue on that journey. And it doesn't mean that this is the journey for every spiritual leader. Oh, because I've heard that, story before where, oh, you want to really connect to your inner self, don't eat meat, don't do this, don't do that, blah, 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 blah. It's like, you know what? Okay, so here's Gary as an example. He's a channeler and he does all this stuff. He eats meat. He just, he does all these things and he still channels. It doesn't, deter, the information coming in. And there are days where he's like, you know what? Like that didn't feel good. So I'm going to try this instead. And so he listens to his body. And we all have that ability to listen to ourselves, our inner selves, because we are so unique that you don't want to listen to the mass. But when you start listening to your inner guides and then you get inspired to say, ooh, okay, they're telling me to do like interval training, or they're telling me to do swimming, or they're telling me to go for a bike ride. Then if you don't know how to do those things, you know what I'm saying? Then you can Google on the internet or whatever, you want to do and find maybe a group, find a gym near you that has those things. And then maybe come to me as a trainer or a guide. Because if you know nothing about exercise, but the universe or your inner guides are telling you, weight train, you're like, I don't know how to even lift weights. Like, what do I do? How do I begin? Then you can go and find a trainer. See the difference, where that law of attraction is coming in, listening to yourself and being guided instead, as opposed to, that's it, I'm done. I have to lose weight. I'm going to go exercise. I'm going to go weight training, because you're doing it because of the wrong reason. You're not being guided, You're doing it for some other reason. You can do that and you may have results, but it's not going to last and it's not going to be the same as, the guidance that comes from your inner self.
That's actually very much like me. Like my husband is also a personal trainer and he works out of a gym. Yet I can't go to the gym. The gym is not for me.
Yeah.
Right. So, but of course, I've got someone in my life who's very passionate about that, also doing outdoor boot camp style activities. But for me, it's just gym is not for me. I do my own exercise, like dancing movements and other kinds of exercises.
Right.
And it's interesting that it's just about movement, isn't it? And it's movement of energy. So we might see physical exercises like, okay, getting our heart rate up and building muscles and so forth, but it's much more than that. On the metaphysical level, it's a movement of energy, and the movement of energy can really vitalize you. Like, for instance, I'm doing a practice at the moment, and it's actually a channeled practice, doing sound alchemy or light language. And it's basically a channeled sounds coming through me. But now that's kind of moved into my body and moving parts of my body. It's kind of like a dance. It kind of looks a bit like Tai Chi in a way. Yeah. And, so there's a lot of ancient traditions that know about the movement of energy with body movements. And when I do that, I just feel so revitalized. I'm sweating, and it's not like even a really intense physical workout, but I can feel all my energy is flowing. It's similar to yoga, you're moving the energy. So there's different forms. It doesn't have to be the vigorous, intense exercise, can be gentle, but it is about, moving the energy, and that maintains, the balance between, the physical health and spiritual well-being. So it's about finding that balance that's unique to you, isn't it?
100%. Absolutely. Oh, yes. If we can spread this word out to everyone, I would love to spread that to the world, but whoever is, a vibrational match, as we know, that's going to hear this, but it is so 100% true. Find what feels good to you. And I've been teaching that since the day that I, became certified as a personal trainer, and going through, and I was young, I was in the military. And then when I came out, I took this course, and I got certified as a personal trainer and started working as a trainer and owned my own gym. And it was just fascinating, to see so many different belief systems and ideas around this training. But I was always true to do whatever makes you feel good. And you do not have to sweat. You don't have to, rigorously train. You can do the Tai Chi. I went to massage therapy school, and my teacher, she would have us outside in the morning doing Tai Chi. And I'm like, what is this? It's all about moving energy. That's all it is. And do what makes you feel good.
That is true.
Yeah. Yeah.
And talking about feeling good, because obviously you have this awareness of both the fitness and the well-being and law of attraction, even though you're very, very healthy, I'd want to talk about for a moment that despite all of this and knowing about law of attraction, how everything happens for you, you and Gary actually came down with COVID, which is very interesting because, you and Gary are both quite healthy. So knowing about all this wisdom that you have about maintaining well-being, how did you manage this both physically and emotionally? How did you guys, go through that journey?
Yeah. So this whole COVID thing has been so very interesting. And from the time it began, I guess it was the beginning of this year. We've heard about it a little bit in December. It was, in China, and who knew that it was going to come to where it is now. But let's just talk back. December. I'm not a big news watcher, so I'm like, okay, so there's, this COVID virus going around. Okay, so now it's in Europe a lot, and now March. So we had went and traveled to Florida in January. Not a big deal, right? Like it wasn't even a big deal here in the United States. So now March, April, they're like, everybody stay home, and we work from home. So we're like, okay. So my feelings, when I'm watching the news, I'm like, okay. I'm like, oh my God. So now it's really big in the tri-state area of New York, Connecticut, New Jersey. And now my kids are in Connecticut. So now I'm in a lot of fear about that. But using the law of attraction, I'm like, okay, it's okay. I was like, everybody's fine. And I just took it moment to moment. The kids are fine. I was never really worried about me here because we really don't go out to work and stuff. We work from home and stuff like that. So it was really just like, it's okay. I was like, I'm going to be fine. More worried about the kids. Okay, so let's fast forward. Summertime, everything's okay. My kids were okay. They survived, the COVID up in the tri-state area where it was at the biggest, the heightest. So now Gary and I decide to fly to New York. And of course, everybody's like, fly to New York, it's COVID. There's a lot of stuff going on. It's okay. All right. So we fly there, we meet some friends, and we stay there for a week. And it was my daughter's 21st birthday. So we went from New York to Connecticut, and we were all fine. A lot of precautions, masks and stuff, and trying to, be cautious, which we were. I'm like, okay, no big deal. Understanding that if it's going to happen to me, it's going to happen. But I was still nervous at first. Like, you hear all these stories on the news and all this stuff, like how bad it is. And I'm not saying that it was not bad for people. I know that it was. I understand that. But I was just like, if it's going to happen to me, it'll happen to me. And, I'll be fine. Or if whatever happens is going to be the right thing. So we go to New York, go to Connecticut, we fly back home. We're fine, right? And I think it was like 5 days later, I started feeling sick. I was like, I don't feel so good. So I was like, just tired, started getting a cough. I said, all right, I just need to lay down. So I came home, I laid down in the bed. This is no problem, had a headache. I woke up the next day, I was like, I still don't feel that good. So I was like, you know what? Let me call the doctor. Called the doctor, went for a test. Sure enough, it was tested positive for COVID. I drove myself to the doctor. I got tested. I drove myself home. I put myself back in the bed. I took a little Motrin. It felt like I've had the flu, was nothing like that. It felt like a bad cold. Not as bad as the flu, but yes, I did have COVID. And what I did is I said to myself, no problem. I says, I'm going to get through this. I am just going to lay here and listen to my body. What do I need? I need water. I need some Motrin, and I need to rest. And that's all I did is I rested, and I says, I will get through this. It will be fine. And just that positive affirmation, and rested. Really, that was the most important thing, that my body was telling me to rest, rest, rest. Rested. Okay. A few days later, I was okay. I was able to, get up. There was no more fever. So I was okay to, do little house chores or little works on the computer, stuff like that. Still a little bit weak and tired, but other than that, and obviously Gary got it the same time I did. He got it the next day. And 2 days he was like just resting in the bed, and then he was fine. So, it was very interesting. That was just our experience. And I think it was a few days later, I lost my sense of taste and smell. And that was only for like 3-4 days. That was another symptom. But other than that, after that, we were fine. It was interesting that, we traveled all over. I know people are afraid of traveling. We're traveling again to Colorado. We're not in fear of that, and not, totally taking precautions, but just not putting ourselves in this bubble where, oh my God, in fear. We're not in fear of it, but we are definitely, cautious of it, and taking, CDC guidelines and doing all that stuff. But it doesn't matter, whatever your belief is and what you want to do about this. But this was our experience. We came out of it fine. Knock wood, we're here, talk about the experience. And I'm sure that there are a lot more people that have had our same experience that I think that they should talk more about. But yeah.
And so how do you think law of attraction really assisted you on this? Because, often, even though, we do all the spiritual or the inner work, when something like that happens to you, because I guess there's a fear of the unknown out there, because it's such, I guess, a new, kind of disease. And I know in the communities, there are certain perceptions of what is COVID. I understand that. Of course, I respect how you perceive it, but, it does affect people different ways. And it can trigger a lot of fear in people. And even though you do all this work, when it happens to you, I can understand that if, you'd be like, wow, like what's going to happen, because you might, I don't know, the statistics, again, is different to where you are in America, to Australia. No matter where you are in the world, it affects you differently. But how important is it that, maintaining that, positive outlook in LOA? How do you think it really affected you and Gary's recovery?
Yeah, I think it's so important. It played a big role in how, I dealt with it, by having it. There were times where I'd lay in bed and I'd be like, oh my God, am I going to die? And I'm like, of course you're not going to die. You're fine. You're fine. Everything is okay. Really reaffirming that positive attitude, and not thinking about the future and projecting what could happen in the future, and focusing in the moment, using this positive thinking and, attracting what you really want in your life, and attracting and listening to your inner guidance, and also asking other, guidance around you to say, hey, can you protect me? Can you, I'm okay. And I know that I'm going to get through this. And I call on you to protect me now, whatever it is that you have to talk about. Because as humans, it's so easy to go into that, oh my God, am I going to die? Oh my God, this is so fearful, and I remember just going in and doing that positive affirmations to myself and saying, okay, what is it that you need now, Tracy? Rest. Okay, just sleep, lay down, rest, positive thinking. And, if you needed to ask for guidance, you ask for the help. Say, hey, listen, just protect me right now. So yeah, that completely helps so much, because it's so easy for us to go and think, oh my God, I have COVID. Oh my God, am I going to die? Am I going to be in the hospital? Am I going to do this? Because you listen to all of these other stories, right? And we have to understand that we're all so very unique. So just take any experience that you get and know that it's unique to yourself. Stop listening to the influence of so many others. Maybe listen to your own guidance. You know, of course, news and stuff, people who've had experiences, but it's not for everyone. Just like exercise and nutrition and the same diet is not for everyone. The same is for anything that happens to you in this life. Listen to yourself. You know, you have the law of attraction, as we know, anybody who's listening should know that what you think about, you bring about, right? So I have a younger daughter who's 16, and she's got asthma. She's had asthma for a long time, you know, for her life. So now she is having trouble breathing. She has no other symptoms. And all she's like, Mommy, am I going to die? I'm like, you're not going to die. I was like, you don't have COVID. She didn't have any other symptoms. So I'm trying to teach her about, you know, that positive thinking and saying, listen, you're having trouble breathing. Just relax, listen to your inner guidance system. What do you need now? You know, it's like, don't go into the mainstream and the conformity of everybody saying, oh my God, you can't breathe, you have COVID, you're going to die. Like, no, just relax.
It really is going within, and it's the key is being aware of your resistance, isn't it? And that's also plays into the law of attraction. And it's not just for like COVID or any other physical ill. It's also, you know, ascension symptoms. And that's why paying attention and listening to the inner guide is so important, because, you know, many of you that are watching this, because you are very, you know, sensitive to energies, you probably will experience ascension symptoms this year, 2020. There's been so many shifts, and that's a whole nother thing about COVID. It's this purge. It connects with the, you know, the collective consciousness. We're all shifting, and because of these shifts, it's going within this. It's within us. It is reflected in our societies and our physical reality. So everything we see in our physical reality is a reflection of what's going on within us and within our consciousness. And, you know, everything is happening for us. And those of you on this spiritual journey, you know, I can understand that, you know, you do all the work and you understand law of attraction. And then like for you, I don't know how it was for you and Gary, but it's like, okay, you've done the work and yet I've got COVID. And you might, I don't know, some of you out there might, if those of you who've experienced this or other kind of illnesses might go, okay, I've done the work and I attracted this, you know, this illness. And then you might judge your journey and go, did I do something wrong? Or I'm not doing, you know, law of attraction right, or I'm being punished, I'm doing something wrong. But if you go further into law of attraction, you have to understand that everything does happen for you. And just because you know you got COVID or you got another illness or so forth, there is something in there for you. And it's kind of, it's hard sometimes to understand, especially when it can be like a life-threatening illness. You'd be like, okay, how can this be for me? And I can understand that can be very challenging, especially when you've got, you know, the media and everything saying like, and yes, for a lot of people, this is fatal, and but it's for their soul journey. And if you can kind of let go of the resistance and understand that it's happening for me for a reason, I don't know why it is. I didn't do anything wrong on my spiritual journey, because know that there's much more going on here, you know, like we have soul contracts, pre-birth intentions, right? So along our life, we wanted to explore certain challenges to basically catalyze us to go further inwards. You know, sometimes we get physical sicknesses because we're so busy in our life, you know, we haven't had time to rest and pause and go inwards. So sometimes the universe makes us, you know, kind of forces us to stop, to go within. And this is, you know, can be said for what's happening in society, because it's, you know, all the lockdowns and everything is happening in society because of this pandemic. It's making everyone be still. It's making everyone go inwards and just stop, you know, and rest, you know, and,
so true.
It's, I can understand. Did you have these thoughts at all? I mean, I can understand.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Oh
did
yeah.
did I attract it? I'm doing something wrong. You know what I
No,
mean?
no,
Like,
no. Yeah, no, Kimberly, it's so true. As you were speaking it, I was like, oh my God, those words are so true. I was exactly like that. I said to myself, okay, this is definitely for me. I says, I'm getting it. I did not resist it. And I think maybe that's part of the reason why it was as mild as it was for me, as opposed to other people. I don't know. I'm not saying that's the answer, but I do believe that whatever comes to you, you have to understand, okay, this is for me. How is this for me? And you don't have to figure that out right in the moment. You can just take it as, okay, and not resist it. I didn't resist it. I was like, it was so funny when I first started feeling sick. I was like, oh, I'm coughing. I was like, what is this? I was like, I don't feel good. I didn't even think COVID. I was just like, all right, I'm listening to my body. I'm going to go lay down. And, you know, I went and laid down that day. The next day I got up and I was like, I just knew. I was like, I'm not feeling right. All right, let me get tested. Okay, got tested. And once it came back positive, I was like, okay, this is for me. This is for me. All I got to do is lay down, not resist it. Because like you said, the more you resist it, you know, whatever it's, you know, it could, your body will be in more resistance. So understand whatever comes to you is for you, whether it's the COVID, whether it's a flu, whether it's, you know, a car accident, no matter what it is, everything is for you. And you don't have to figure it out right in that moment, but use that law of attraction to say, okay, all right. It's okay. Everything's okay in this moment. I'm okay. Everything's fine. And move on from there, as opposed to resisting anything that's happening. Using this law of attraction and your guidance system to get you through these things. I'm telling, if it wasn't for the law of attraction between, you know, for Gary and I, and not knowing these, you know, teachings of how, you know, things are for us and we're not victims. We're here just to experience this life. Like I could have been coming out, you know, I could have went to the doctor's office, been tested positive and drove home in tears and crying. Oh my God, being the victim. No, I was just like, okay, I'm going to go home and I feel like I got to lay down. Like I have my headache, take a little Motrin, do whatever I'm inspired to do. Laid down and it was fine. 2 days, we were fine.
Yeah.
We were fine.
And that's why it really helps to, you know, let go of the resistance, because when we are resistant to something, it's the condition that you're experiencing stays longer and it affects your experience of it. And this doesn't just go for like, you know, COVID or any physical illness. It's also ascension symptoms. And by really being attuned to the inner guidance, like you said, you just knew and you got tested. Because this is with so many shifts, those of you who are sensitive enough, you probably would also have ascension symptoms. And often ascension symptoms, which just means like you are moving to higher dimensions of existence. And basically because your consciousness is shifting so much, your body has to catch up. And sometimes your body has physical symptoms. And commonly one of these symptoms is tiredness. So you could think, okay, I'm tired, I have COVID, when it's just ascension symptoms, or it could be the other way. So by you being really attuned to your body and your inner guidance, you will know if this is just symptoms of my ascension shift, or is it something more? So that's why being attuned to your inner guidance is so helpful. And whenever you go through these shifts, whether it's, you know, a physical illness, whether it's something emotional that you're having, you know, you're having a lot of challenges to move through it, like dark night of the soul, depression, anxiety, which is coming up a lot for a lot of people during this year, or whether it's ascension symptoms, the more you resist it, the more it's going to stay. So it's about, you know, letting go of the resistance, knowing that it'll move through you when it's supposed to.
Right.
Just listen to your body, exactly what you did. You know, listen to your body. It doesn't need rest, doesn't need to eat certain foods, doesn't need to get outside and connect or whatever it is. your body is divine. You know, often you might see, our body is just like a meat suit, right? But our physical body is divine. It's intelligent and we can communicate with it. It communicates with us because it's part of Gaia, it's part of the earth. We are an aspect of Gaia and Source. So we have all the guidance within us, our inner selves, even our physical body. You can communicate with your physical body, your inner self. There is so many ways we can connect. If you're having trouble connecting within yourself, you can even connect to nature, to Gaia, because she's an aspect of us. You can get that connection and the healing effects from also connecting to Gaia. But just, listen to your body. And it is really key, isn't it? Just to let go of that resistance and understand. And a lot of the fear comes, especially I would assume from COVID, because there is obviously a fatality rate, right?
Yes.
So because of that fear of the unknown, you might go, okay, am I going to be one of these statistics? Am I, because I guess a lot of people don't know much about it. But if you can trust, that's why law of attraction, I can see it's really helped you. And
it helps.
It's the way to go. So not just for this, but for everything, because if you can understand that it is for you, you might not be able to see it. Perhaps if you can at least see a silver lining, that's still you changing your perspective, that there is something good coming out of this, whether it's just rest, whether it's you being able to connect to a certain aspect of your life you didn't have time for before. Whatever it is, just hold on to that positive, that hope. And, with our soul contracts, it basically allows us to explore these certain themes in our lives, whether it is sickness and as well as soul contracts. Know that when it is our time to transition from this earth, that's also something that we've chosen pre-birth. And it's, so it's something you can, even with that, if it gets to that, by you knowing that, you can also let go of that resistance and go, okay, if something gets quite to the level where, I don't know if I can, survive this, at least you know that if something's going to happen, it was meant to be for a higher reason. And like other people in your reality, other people you see on the news, I know in America there's a much higher fatality rate, I guess, to Australia. And by knowing that these people have transitioned because it was their time, we choose when we are actually going to transition.
Right.
Not from our human perspective, but from our non-physical perspective. We always have a choice. So you can kind of, even, of course, be compassionate to those people who've transitioned. And we're always going to have those human emotions. We're always going to have a fear of death, for instance. But if you can understand that it was their time and it was a time for them to go, part of their soul contracts, then you can kind of release that resistance even more, knowing that everything is happening in accordance to higher perspectives here. So it kind of allows you to kind of let go more of the control in a way, isn't it? And that helps you to let go of the resistance.
Totally.
As well.
Totally, Kimberly. And I have to say, if I can, I'm inspired to talk, talking about, the transitioning, and listen, like we fear death, right? Like most humans do. It's like the fear of it. This is like my whole life. I'm going to be 50 soon, right? And it has been a process, but it has come to the point now where I really don't fear it anymore. Like, it's like terrified of it, of death, terrified my whole life. I think it was more of the pain of it, or, whatever it was, it does not matter. But we as humans, yes, it's normal to fear death. And especially when you're a mom and you have children, or you're like, oh my God, you're like, you can't even imagine being in this life without your children. So yeah, that. But now, just the practice of it for many years now, maybe 5-6 years, but everybody's different. It does not matter. I don't fear it anymore. It is the most amazing thing, because of knowing about my inner guidance system, knowing about being eternal, knowing about that, we choose this, like you were just talking about, the people who have gotten sick, whether it was the flu or the COVID or whatever it was, anybody, no matter what, car accident, it doesn't matter. They transitioned, they had that soul contract and it was their choice and it was okay. Yes, as humans, we still, feel kind of, sensitive to that. But I think, honestly, just the other day, I feel the transition in myself where I'm just not so fearful of death anymore. I'm just like, it's going to be okay. It's okay. I'm going to know that that was for me as well, And I don't want people to feel, to fear that. Maybe this is going off on a very, higher topic, but don't fear it. But practice that. It takes a long time. And if you're interested in that, how to get to that point, because I think this is what I'm doing, is living a much more fulfilling and abundant life by not fearing that, staying in the moment, being here and understanding that I got COVID. Okay, it's for me. I feel like crap, but it's okay. Let's, sit down and lay down and listen to your body, and whatever's going to happen is going to be for me, and it's going to be for everybody's highest good, whatever.
Yeah. But that fundamental, that fear of death or fear of loss underpins a lot of our fears, underpins why we have this need to control. So if we can, I know it's quite intense to talk about that, but if we can address that and address our fear of loss, it means that everything that you experience in life, you'll live a more freer life, you'll be able to have less resistance and listen to the inner guidance. And when you say, when you don't have fear of death, of course, as a human, always going to have that little fear of, what's going to happen, people we leave behind and so forth. That's just the extreme, obviously we're talking about. But the fear of the unknown is, you just have to trust that everything is happening for us. And it is by maintaining your alignment, by being more centered in the present moment. And it's not about, ignoring medical advice and ignoring the Western medicine and I'm not fearful of death. I'm just going to use the law of attraction. I'm not going to seek any medical assistance. It's not about that. It's about understanding universal laws. It's about maintaining your alignment, listening to your inner guidance, working on your limiting beliefs, seeing everything is a part of oneness, everything is happening for you, everything is a teacher for you, because you're highly advanced beings. Once you can, start to perceive life in higher perspectives and maintain your alignment, you'll be more sensitized to receiving the inner guidance, the inner wisdom. You call it your higher selves, your inner being, source, God, universe, whatever you want to call it. And that will guide you to the right step. Like you might receive the guidance, I need to go to the doctor. You may receive guidance, I'm going to take another action. So to maintain well-being, whether it is through physical diseases, whether it's health, well-being, if you can maintain your alignment, you'll be guided to the right step. There's no steps that are wrong, but it's about knowing that you'll be guided. So if you, for instance, if you feeling sick and you're meant to recover, you're going to be guided to the right doctors. You're going to be guided every step of the way.
It's so true.
You have to trust the process. Yeah.
Totally trust the process. Everything that you're saying, so true. And this takes, practice. This didn't happen to me overnight, but I will say something about when I had COVID, as we're, talking about this. I remember Gary was like, don't take Motrin because they said Motrin is no good, while you're taking COVID. And I'm like, what? I was like, I didn't even hear that. It was not in my, reality, or I never heard of this before. I was like, well, I says, I've been taking Motrin and that's the only thing that makes me feel better. But he was like, he read, cause he reads the news stories sometimes. He's like, I read that Motrin's no good. You shouldn't take it while you have the COVID. And I was like, oh. So I stopped taking it and I would take Advil and it wouldn't do anything for me. And I was like, I don't give a shit what they say, excuse my French. I was like, I'm taking the Motrin because that's the only thing that made me feel better. So I listened to my inner guidance.
You'll have to explain what a Motrin is because we don't have that in Australia. There might be a lot of people listening to this. Is it like an ibuprofen, paracetamol?
Ibuprofen, yes.
Right,
yes,
okay,
ibuprofen.
Gotcha.
Sorry. So
That's
you're like Motrin. Yeah, so ibuprofen, you know, I was taking that because I just had headaches and body aches. And for me, ibuprofen would help for me. And as for Gary, like he would take Advil and that would never help him with his pain. You know, if he had, you know, we don't take pills a lot, but you know, when we get sick and you're, you know, that in pain, I take the ibuprofen and it helps me. And he takes that. So anyway, point is, I listened to my body. I wasn't listening to the mainstream media and all this stuff. And like, you know, if they said you take Motrin and you're dying, like thousands of people, like, no, it wasn't that. I was just, you know, it wasn't like that. So I listened to the media, but then I also listened to my inner self. And I'm like, okay. I was like, well, you know, you really have to go in and do some research as well as listen to your inner guidance system. You know what I'm saying? So,
and you'll be guided to do the research. You'll be guided, you know, to maybe switch on the TV to watch something, or be guided to read an article. So it's again, listening to your intuition, your inner guidance. That's why doing all this, you know, soul work, your shadow work is so important, because it makes you more sensitized to this inner guidance. And it allows you to lead a more fulfilling, more vibrant, energetic life, because you are guided to what's best, you know, for your circumstance, what's best for your being. You know, we are unique frequencies of source. So what's good for you might be different for me, because we are unique frequencies. So it's not like a one brush stroke for everybody, you know. So that's why it's about listening to that guidance and knowing that, you know, everything's happening for us, that we are safe, even though the fear of the unknown can rattle that a little bit. But understand that we are here for a reason. You know, this what's happening now is the great awakening, and never before time has there been such a great awakening. It's an evolution of not just our human vessel, but an evolution of our consciousness. And because of this, of course, we're going to go through shifts as a collective, as a society. So you're going to see these shifts, whether it's a pandemic, whether it's something else, you're going to see these shifts in society, because we are shifting. It's happening for us, for our evolution. You know, we're multidimensional beings. So in another planet, a body form, we don't have this pandemic. We don't have these physical illnesses. Like, it's in a, you know, a different form. So we get to experience life uniquely as a human. Who we really are is source. And it's just a game of expansion here. And I know with, you know, these kind of physical illnesses, and there's a lot of intensity about it because of how a lot of people do go through it. But it's, from a higher perspective, it's all for us to expand our consciousness, not just our individual consciousness, but for the collective. So it's just, I mean, there's a lot of fear out there. I don't know how it is in America, but like with the media, but you just have to listen to your guidance. And if it's very fearful, if you're feeling fearful, just turn off the news, you know. So some news might be funny and entertaining, but you can watch the news as long as you can, you know, maintain your alignment. Right. And another thing I want to address is that often a time we're on this spiritual journey, we, you know, even though we have the capability of healing ourselves, it doesn't mean we need to reject mainstream, you know, medical help as well. Right. Often a time we might be like, oh, you know, like for me, I'm a Reiki therapist. I'm like, oh, I should be able to heal myself, be able to do everything, or whatever modality that you do. And then when you can't heal yourself, you might be like, you might feel that you're not good enough, not worthy enough, not powerful enough. And then you might get to a point where, depending on your belief systems, where you might reject a lot of the mainstream things, you know. But it's about knowing that everything is complementary. There is no wrong or right modality to heal you. It's basically listen to the guidance. You can use a combination of both, one or the other, but whatever is listen to the guidance. Don't listen to the fear, because often a lot of times there is fear to go to the mainstream, you know. There are a lot of people who have the fear. There's fear on the other side, the fear of the alternate modalities. So it goes both ways. Just know that you will be guided what is best for you, for your well-being. So it's just kind of letting your belief systems be more flexible, and to know that you'll be guided every step of the way. And it's so wonderful that, you know, that you and Gary were able to use that law of attraction because of the knowings that you have to assist you through this journey. And of course, everything happens for you. So by you going through that, for us, you know, speaking about it today, I'm sure you're going to assist many other people who are going through similar challenges. So thank you for sharing your story about that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank
it's
you.
my pleasure, Tracy. It's wonderful to have you on and talk about all this because, you know, often a time where, you know, it's a challenging year for a lot of people. So whether it's, you know, mental health, because not just this COVID thing, it's affecting a lot of people's mental health. So it's about knowing the fundamental, you know, law of attraction that allows you to manage everything, whether it's an intense physical illness like COVID, where there's just, you know, mental struggles, challenges.
Right.
Being able to let go of that resistance. So whatever you're going through, it's physical, mental, spiritual, everything's happening for you. It's just being able to accept. That's an unconditional love. If you can be in acceptance of what's happening, you kind of raise your vibration and you allow that resistance to be transformed and melted away. And that's when you can receive the guidance. So no matter what you're going through, whether it is COVID, whether it is just you wanting to maintain better health and fitness and well-being for yourself, it really is just listening to that inner guidance. So
Right.
yeah, you're unique being. So listen to the guidance. Yeah.
We all are. And especially for those moms out there, because that's my biggest fear. You know what? Knowing the LOA, the law of attraction, and using these teachings for myself and, you know, with Gary and being with him, you know, it's really fluid between us because we're so into it, right? So, but I have 3 children who kind of, sort of, they're like, Ma, you know, what are you talking about? And like, we make fun of they make fun of me, but it's also using this law of attraction to literally, you know, like, it's the scariest thing when your kids are sick or they're not feeling good and you think that, you know, oh my God, what's happening to them? Or just getting in the car and driving 2 hours away, you're like, oh my God. So using the law of attraction to really, you know, to understand they're going to be fine. They have their own guidance system. I'm telling you, whoever you are, wherever you are, it really makes a difference. It has made my life. I mean, I could be such a, you know, a nervous wreck thinking about my 3 children and what they do all day. And like, I don't have control of them, you know, but just knowing that they're guided, they're going to be fine in this moment. They are fine. Because as a mother, you constantly worry about them. And I don't know why I brought that up, but you were mentioning about it's really just the importance of practicing that everything is working out and it will work out perfectly.
Wonderful. And also not to judge your own journey also, because you know, many of us that are on this spiritual path going inwards, we judge our journey. You know, if we're not at a certain level, I guess, in our ascension or in our physical well-being, people who might get physically sick, they might, like we talked about earlier, you might go, what has happened to me? Am I doing something wrong? I'm thinking of the wrong thoughts. So I attracted this. I'm bad. It's not about that. It's about, you know, just maintaining your alignment, knowing that if it comes to you, it is for you, not because it might not be because you have these, you know, these negative thoughts. It could be just because it's part of your soul contract. And it's about being in tune to that, connecting to that. There is a silver lining in everything, you know, and it's about using that for everything in your life. And that will help you to maintain your alignment, your coherence to your higher self, your inner being. So we are very powerful divine beings, and we have the power to overcome any challenge in our life if we can believe that we are worthy of it and we are capable of it.
That's right. Wonderful. That's right.
Well, yes. Tracy, thank you for being a guest today. And Tracy, where can people find you?
You can find me on, you can email me at Tracy Deluise at gmail.com if you have any questions. And also Facebook. Also with Gary, I am on the Friends of Joshua group. So Joshua is channeled through Gary, my boyfriend, Gary Temple Bodley. And we have this Facebook group where you can find more information about, you know, positive thinking and affirmation. We've got meditation, stuff like that. And if you're looking for just more understanding of how this law of attraction works and how you can incorporate it in your life. Like Kimberly said it so perfectly. It's not about when, you know, I'm doing this wrong and I'm no good and how could I attract this? No. It's always about like, hey, this is for me. Thinking about that positive, you know, thinking, law of attraction. Do that, practice it. This did not come overnight to me. I'm sure it didn't come overnight to Kimberly. We've all, right, been practicing this, and you will see your life transform. So yeah, if you want to find us. Yeah,
and you also have you do some live fitness, don't you?
Oh, I do. I do live fitness. So yeah, I was doing live Tabata. So Tabata is a interval training. It's like 20 minutes of interval training workouts on Facebook. And that you can find on my Facebook group at Tracy Deluise. Just Facebook me, or, search for me on Facebook at Tracy Deluise. And I might move that over to another group, but for now, I just go online at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in the United States. Not sure what time that is, but all the videos are saved to Facebook. So you can go on my Facebook page at any time, friend me, I'll friend you back, and you can find the videos there, or on YouTube at Tracy Deluise as well.
Wonderful, that's great. Well, we've discussed a lot of great information here. So with everything that we discussed today, I hope it assists you in your journey in health and well-being. So those of you who want to know more about me, just jump on the website, beingsofthelight.com. I invite you to join my Facebook community, Beings of Light with Kimberley community group. We've got a private group, a public group, Facebook page. Jump on the website. I've got a lot of YouTube videos as well. You can access that through the website. The links are all there, podcasts and all the works is all there. So thanks again for joining, Tracy. Until next time, everyone have a wonderful week. Love and light. Farewell.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Mystical Musings with Friends. To find more info about myself and how to reach out to me about this podcast, please see the episode details. Remember, you are never alone on your journey, for you are one with all that is.